What is going on, everyone? It's Rob and Jonny. Welcome to episode 49 of the MMArcade podcast. Rob, it's been a huge week, man, in the world of UFC.
It has. And for yourself, I know you were over there. I saw the videos you're putting up, the interviews, everything. I'm sorry I couldn't be there, bro, but you did us proud. You held the reins. And how'd you find it all, man?
Surreal experience. I've never been more nervous for anything in my life. And it was cool, not just it being my first UFC event, but also being part of the presses and all the media coverage and everything. So I'd absolutely do it again in a heartbeat, and got to be a part of some cool moments, which I talked about in the recap video yesterday or whenever I uploaded, like, you know, asking the question of Dricus, which caused the whole thing to go off in the press conference, unintentionally so, and then asking Dricus the question after he beat Israel, which led into him talking about you. So a couple of cool moments as part of it all, and I really loved it.
No, it was good to see. It looked like you were enjoying it. You looked like you fit the glove.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. As I said, if I get the opportunity to do it again, if it ever does come to Sydney again, and I think they have a contract with Sydney, so there should be some events coming up.
You know it'll happen again.
Yeah.
You'll be there next year, dude.
Yeah. So whether it's Sydney or Perth or another, maybe Melbourne. Melbourne will be cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. It was a shame that you couldn't be there, though.
I know. Like, it would have been good because I had this whole plan of going there, seeing family, going to the fights, working around the fights and all that. But
yeah, mate,
as soon as that fight was announced, you know, I was locked in. And
you are locked in, hey?
I just don't have the days, don't have the time to lose. Like, every moment I can, I'm spending at the gym. So
yeah, no, dude, completely understandable. But let's talk about it all. Our recap of UFC 305. If you are new to the channel, to the podcast, please do subscribe. It really helps out the channel a lot. And we're going to start off talking about the main event, Dricus Du Plessis against Israel Adesanya for the middleweight title. Dricus submits Izzy in the fourth round via rear naked choke. Rob, I'll let you take the reins. What do you think of this fight?
Oh, mate, tricky fight to describe, right? Because I think, for starters, Adesanya looked sharp. He looked really good. Okay, I think that was honestly one of the better versions of Adesanya we've seen. Like, he was dangerous. Dricus, mate, how do you sum him up? Dude's tough as nails. He's got ticker and he's got a headspace. Like, he's got the right mind space to go there. Like, he's willing to die on his shield. The dude's tough as nails. He is so awkward and cumbersome to watch, man. But he gets it done. He makes it work. Like, mate, like, he runs at you, throwing punches like you stole something from him, right? And man, like, it works. Okay, it works. I don't know how else to sum him up, right? Yeah. He's like, he would fit perfectly in a pub anywhere in Sydney, right? He makes it work. I think a big part of his game plan was to incorporate the wrestling. I think he didn't expect Adesanya's wrestling defense to be so good. I don't think he expected Adesanya's ability to get up to be as good as it was, because we saw when Dricus got him down, I think it was in the second round, and held him down, really forced that position. When eventually Adesanya did get up, Dricus was blown. He was tired.
I remember. Yeah.
But in saying that, dude fights well tired. What, you know, technically nothing changes from when he's tired to when he's not tired. He's just a little faster. The dude's there's a method to his madness. Like, I'm making light of it and making it funny, but the dude is a weapon. He's a true warrior. And I can say that firsthand because he beat me, right? With the same cumbersome throwing punches, right? It's funny. I saw the same moment Adesanya had in that fight, in his fight, that I had in my fight. And it was somewhere in the first round where you see the punches, you move out of the way of the punches, and you realize, like, he's slow. I can see them. Like, I got this. Like, it's almost like you're like, this is too easy. Like I can see everything. And then all of a sudden it hits you. Then he starts climbing on you when he starts closing that gap a little bit more. Like he starts risking it a little bit more, like lunging into his shots, and he closes that inch that you thought you were safe by a little bit. Then there's a factor of his power, and he's got power. You saw him the way Adesanya, like, so in that last exchange before the submission, Adesanya took some heavy shots. Adesanya's got great chin. He does. Bastard. He does. He's got great chin. So he took those shots, and you could tell when Adesanya's hurt. He kind of goes all sullen, like stone face. You don't see anything, right? And you could see they hurt him. And Dricus saw that too, pushed it, got the takedown, and then jumped on the back straight away. Like, good instincts. He said he trained for that transition. It looked good, but that's just testament to his power, because his power is what got him the chance, the opportunity, right? There's so much to dissect, and so much like what ifs. Like, you'd have to ask him. But like, man, to sum it all up, like, I think Adesanya looked outstanding. Dricus is just the warrior. And I understand what you need to do to beat him. You need to be ready to leave it all there. Like, you need to be ready to die to beat him. And yeah, you know, congratulations to him. Congratulations to Adesanya for stepping back in there and putting on a good showing, you know.
And that's kind of what I said in the recap that I did. I thought Izzy looked really good until he got hit, until he got submitted, right? And it was interesting. I got to ask you this. On the judges' scorecards, and there was weirdness with the judges' scorecards all night, but on the judges' scorecards, it had Dricus up 2-1 when it got submitted in the fourth. Now, I would assume that had hypothetically Israel gotten out of the fourth round, he probably would have won that fourth round because he was so clean with his striking, and he was really working Dricus's body. But what do you think of Dricus in the eyes of the judges being up 2-1 when the fight was stopped?
I think it was close enough that I could see it happening. Like, I wouldn't have been shocked if it was 2-1 Adesanya, but I can see like where the judges were coming from. You know, it's funny you say that though, because like, I'm pretty sure a judge got sacked midway through the fight. He did.
Yeah.
So the judges are funny, right? They're just testament to that. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm focusing. I'm locked into fighting Chimaev, and then the goal's pretty simple. You know, beat Chimaev, fight Dricus, beat Dricus.
So I got to ask you now. He answered this in the post-fight press conference when I asked, who do you believe is the most deserving of a shot? Before I could even finish my question, bro, he jumped in and said, Rob Whittaker, and he went on like a 2-minute tangent saying how he believes that you deserve the shot. Of course, if you beat Khamzat Chimaev. What are your thoughts about what he said?
I think so too. But let's be honest. I got to get through Chimaev. Chimaev is the biggest thing in the middleweight division right now. So I got to stay locked in. I got to stay on task. Yeah, and I'll worry about where the cards fall afterwards.
And then in terms of Israel Adesanya, what do you think he does next? There was a little bit of an inkling that maybe he's going to retire because he took his gloves off, but he clarified that it was only because my hands were sore. He wants to stay not only fighting, he also wants to stay specifically in middleweight. Like, what fights might make sense for him? Like, he has to fight further down the rankings, probably someone like a Nasruddin Imavov. He's in a weird position right now. Maybe if the Dricus and the Sean fight is made, he fights the loser of that. I don't know. I really don't know. What do you think?
I think him fighting Strickland makes sense. You know,
I think it does too, but Strickland's going to sit on his hands and wait.
Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know how to put it. And I don't like thinking about it too much. I don't care.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, I want to see him fight Strickland. Otherwise, like, wait and see what happens with this Cannonier fight with Borralho.
Borralho, yeah.
Borralho, whatever you say his name. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested. We are going to do our predictions for that fight later on. I'm very interested to see Caio Borralho go up against Cannonier. Cannonier was, from memory, a little bit hard done by in his previous fight with Nasruddin, but he gets this opportunity. Do you have any final remaining thoughts on the Dricus fight and the Izzy fight, or everything that went on, as part of UFC 305 and also moving forward?
Mate, turning of the chapter, right? It's good to see. I don't mind beef before a fight. I think as long as it's respectful to a degree. But I think after you fight, the beef should end there. Unless
and it did.
If you've done it right. If you've gotten personal and stuff, you should never get personal. It's a sport, it's a job. You don't get personal with this.
Yeah.
You can have bad blood, you can have grudges, but at the end of the day, what happens in there stays in there, right?
And look, to their credit, to both of them, they seemingly squashed the beef, not only directly after the fight, but also, so when we were a part of the post-fight press conference, after Izzy had his press conference and answered all the questions, Dricus came in, gave him his jacket, he said he was going to give him the jacket, win or lose. And it was just kind of cool to see them squash the beef there. He also, I believe, hugged Izzy's mum. So that was a nice moment. And I think what I appreciated is that the hype, the build-up was fun. It caused a lot of excitement. I don't remember being that on edge for a fight. Probably since when I watched some of your fights. I was excited. I was shaking that whole fight. It was... And because of the build-up, because of everything that happened at the press conference, I hadn't felt like that in a little bit, to be honest. Maybe Tommy Aspinall fight as well. I like when he fights. But yeah, it was just fun to see. You all good?
Yeah, I'm good. Thinking about the fight. I'm good.
All right. Well, let's talk about... This one makes me sad, but let's talk about Caio France against Steve Erceg. Bro, what do you think of this one? I'm still upset.
Mate, it's tricky. Kai has some serious power for that division. He does. And it's no surprise he has that power because he's been knocking people out left, right, and center in that division for a long time. I thought Steve's volume would handle him, but Steve was moving away from his power shots and it was moving away straight backwards. It's always very dangerous. I don't know if Kai practiced that transition, that sequence, or if he saw that Steve was moving back the way he was and he was pulling up short on his first shot, so he walked through on that second one. But, mate, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, right? Kai's
entries were so scary, and I think it would have been obvious that Kai saw that. He was trying to go in. I couldn't imagine trying to be there and read those moves, whether he was going for the head or to the body. He kept Steve guessing. So you're right. He was moving backwards and then he happened to get caught. And maybe there should have been a bit more horizontal movement, but everything's better, 2020 with hindsight, right?
Definitely.
I just feel bad that Steve got caught, in all honesty.
So do I, mate. Yeah, so do I. Kai's got some dangerous power in his hands. He really does.
Yeah.
So he's got that moldy power, man.
And that's what he said too. I got to ask you, do you think that he should get the title shot next against Pantoja?
Probably. Especially because of their history in the house, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Did they fought? No, was it tough? Yeah. Where they fought? It was like a 2-rounder from memory.
Yeah. And I think what's his name won? Pantoja won.
Yeah, Pantoja won.
But it also highlights how good Moreno is, right? Because Moreno beat Kai.
Yeah.
Just how good Moreno is.
For sure. Right. I personally would like to see Caio France get the title shot. I think it makes a lot of sense. There was even, I don't know if this was a bit of a Freudian slip from, I think it was John Anik when he introduced them, but he mentioned that this was a title eliminator. And I hadn't heard that previously at all. And when I did that interview with Steve was like, yeah, I might need 1 or 2 more wins after this to get back to the title. But it seems like whether it was unofficially or officially, this could have been a title eliminator. And for Kai, it makes a lot of sense, especially because he hasn't fought Pantoja in a while.
Yeah, it's hard to say because of, mate, the division's funny in featherweight.
I'm pulling up the rankings now.
Yeah, it's a funny division. I can see him getting a title shot. I do think Steve's been fast tracked to fight in the hardest fights in the world.
He really has, hasn't he?
Literally. maybe maybe that's been like done him hard a little bit, trial by fire. His third fight in the UFC was Pantoja. Fourth was Caio France.
Yeah, it's rough. It's a rough go.
Yeah, I'm half expecting him to fight Moreno next, right?
Well, someone was saying Moreno, others were saying Amir Albazi. I don't think that makes sense.
Give him a break.
I would like to see him against Manel Cap. That would be my preference because I think it could actually be an exciting fight, and I genuinely think it's a good fight for Steve before fighting again the real top contenders like Amir Albazi and Moreno or whoever it is. And it doesn't get him too far away from that top 5. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But by the way, I did Steve had this, he was part of this official after party at Metro City that night. He's in good spirits. Like he's doing good. He was taking photos with fans all night. So Steve is doing really good. He'll be back. I still believe he's going to be a champion one day. But I agree, Caio France should be fighting for the title next. And I think it'll be an interesting fight, man. I really do. I think he has a good chance. But Pantoja's chin is still granite. Eventually that will go, though. Eventually his chin's not going to last.
Caio will put it to the test, man.
Yeah.
Caio will put it to the test. Because he's only gotten more powerful, I feel.
Oh, dude, he looked so... And obviously he was dealing with his own issues. He had the concussion. He had no contact for a good few months, possibly up to 6 months. So he had a long journey back, and he looks fantastic, bro.
Yeah.
If there was anyone that I don't mind that beats Steve Erceg, it's obviously Caio France. Yeah. But next up, this fight was a banger, arguably fight of the night. Mateusz Gamrot against Dan Hooker. What do you think of this one, man? What do you think of Dan?
Mate, I called it in our predictions.
You did, yeah.
Hooker is a hard dude to take down. He's like, I think one of the hardest guys to take down in that division just because he's so dangerous when you're trying to enter. And if you can't enter, he's going to piece you up. Like if you can't stand with him. And that's exactly what we saw. Gamrot really pushed the takedown story a lot in the fight. And you could see when Hooker eventually got to his feet, which he did time and time again.
Yeah.
Gamrot was done. He was very spent. Who's that? Yours? Okay, hold on one second.
That's all right. Well, speaking on what Rob was just saying then,
sorry, no worries.
Dan's always had a good takedown defense. I believe his takedown defense is officially like 80% or so, but I think he showed levels to that. Sorry, Robert, you were talking about Dan.
Mate. Yeah, sorry. Someone just took an Amazon parcel off my porch. I was like, are they stealing from me? But apparently it was like a missed delivery of someone down the street or whatever.
Oh, right.
I hope. I hope.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wrong house to be stealing from.
Not really. She got away with it. What do you mean? Smooth criminal, dude. But yeah, Dan Hooker looked on point, man. He was stuffing the takedowns, not only, but when he did get taken down, he just got back up. Yeah. And when he got back up, he went to work. He pushed in every time. Gamrot was on the back foot the entire fight. And no matter how hard it was for Hooker to get up, he got up and walked him down straight away.
Yeah.
And that just played into the entire theme of Dan Hooker defending takedowns, getting Gamrot tired from trying to take him down and hold him down, and then utilizing his reach and his superior striking to piece him up. And that's what he did.
Can I give full credit to Gamrot, though, because I know a lot of people don't like his fight style. He is takedown wrestling, grappling heavy, right? But he said, leading into this fight, I know I need to be exciting, and I want to show you that I'm good at striking. Words to that effect. He was standing there and banging with Dan, and especially there were some shots where he put Dan down, and you saw Dan's face after it. I thought this was a war, and I thought this was a very exciting fight. And I would like to see Gamrot stay there. It was a very close fight, by the way. It was a split decision win. With Dan, and a lot of people thought that Gamrot actually won that fight. I assume you don't agree with that? You thought Dan won?
I think Hooker won. I did. Because they don't score like takedowns, holding people down as well as they used to. If you don't do any damage, they just don't score it as well anymore. If if that's the reason why Gamrot didn't spam takedowns or why he wasn't conditioned for takedowns, then he's an idiot. No disrespect, but win your fights. Doesn't matter if you got to dry hump the dude for 15 minutes. Win your fights.
I think that he couldn't figure Dan out. And a lot of those takedowns were out of desperation because he didn't want to get hit in the face.
I'm saying hypothetically speaking.
If
that's the reason why. I don't think it was because I mentioned this in my predictions as well. Hooker is, in my opinion, the hardest to take down in that division because of just he's so dangerous in straight line attacks.
Yeah.
And
his frame as well is hard to take down.
He is, man. And when he gets taken down, he's hard to hold down, I feel. He's just a dangerous guy. I feel like he had a lot of success with those elbows up against the fence.
In the second round?
Yeah, I feel like they were doing more damage than we saw. But
yeah. If I was to sum it up, I did think that Gamrot won the first round because he was mauling Dan for a lot of it. Towards the end, absolutely Dan came back, but I didn't think it was enough. Second round, because of those elbows, I would have given it to Dan because they were the more damaging strikes. And then third round was very close, but I still would have given it to Dan. Apparently, it looks like Dan is going to be shooting up to number 5 in the division.
Yep.
Dude, there's so many good fights he can have, man. He can do that fight that he joked about with Charles Oliveira. He could fight Justin Gaethje. I don't think Dustin Poirier would accept the fight with him. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense for him, given where he is. But those are 2 banger fights right there, right?
The world's his oyster now.
I'm so happy for him. And even was it in between the second and the third round where he's like, I live for this shit, brother. It was so good. I love Dan Hooker.
Yeah, he is so crazy, but like proper unhinged. Like, I saw him laughing mid-round or something like that with blood all over his face. And I was like, dude is an actual animal. I'm glad I'm not a lightweight, dude. That division sucks.
It sucks, man. It absolutely does. So, we both thought that Dan Hooker won, but Mateusz Gamrot, he performed really well. He's still ranked right up there in the division, probably going to be 6th now or something like that. So let's see what he does. But next up, bro, this one was hard to watch as well. Tai Tuivasa against Jairzinho Rozenstruik. What do you think of this one?
Mate, I love Tai so much.
Same.
But Rozenstruik just had an excellent game plan and followed it with like unbreakable discipline.
Yeah.
He kept Tai at the end of his jab, stayed away from his power hands, didn't get caught up in a slugfest, except for that one time in round 2, which was kind of sketchy. So one time I was like, Tai's got him. Got him. You know,
I think it was when he got up against the cage. That's when he did his best work. Yeah.
He was really putting in that work with those kicks. Mate, what do you do? Tai just couldn't find his rhythm. He couldn't find an angle outside of Rozenstruik's game plan.
Yeah.
And, mate, that led to him losing.
Dude, Rozenstruik, he is a great striker. He's very technical. He's awesome at kickboxing. He's one of the more accomplished kickboxers that made their way over to the UFC, obviously along the side of people like Israel and Alex Pereira. I think that he really put his mark that he is one of the top heavyweights. He could fight someone like Spivak next, like Tybura next. And a lot of his losses are against some really hard dudes, right? Gan, Ngannou. This guy is a genuine top. Like, is he ever going to get to that title opportunity? I don't know. But he was a hard fight for Tai Tuivasa to have.
Yeah, he was. I thought it was a good fight for Tai as well because, it was in the land of strikes.
Yeah.
Good point. Where Tai shines, but mate, Rozenstruik just had a game plan for him. He had a solid game plan and the discipline to run it through. I think Rozenstruik struggles with the lighter guys, but we see those lighter guys, those faster guys, they're at the top of the food chain right now. Like they're big boys that move fast. Speed kills, especially when you're like 120. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I think we need to see Tai because Tai's pretty young still. I think Tai needs to like step back from the game for a little bit.
I think so. How old is he?
Assess the situation.
Yeah,
and just work on his craft. because he's got the power. He just needs to sharpen his skill set to get around dudes like Rozenstruik, to counter dudes that can take him down like Almeida.
Yeah, dude, he's only 31 years old. Dude's younger than me.
Sort of
like he just needs to take a little bit of time. I agree. But I was hoping that, because I think he moved to where did he move to Dubai to start training? So it felt like there was a different energy with Tai heading into this fight. But unfortunately, this is his 5th loss on the trot. I think the UFC is obviously going to keep him around because we all love him. He's a fun, exciting fighter. But I don't know who we should fight next after taking a little bit of time off.
It's tricky because the top 10,
no one in the top 10
is a hard place to be, right? But anyone lower than that, he starches, man. Like, then that's the discrepancy with the heavyweight division. So,
well, it was this fight with like Derek Lewis. Technically, is so. I don't think these rankings have been updated, mind you. But Tai Tuivasa right now is 10. Derek Lewis is 11. Well, obviously, he knocked out Derek Lewis, but from memory, he was losing that fight prior to that. So I don't think that fight makes sense.
I think Rozenstruik was 12. So like Tai moves to 11. Rozenstruik moves to 10.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh, I don't know. All right.
But let's talk about the next fight. I mean, there's not much to say about this. Li Jingliang, Carlos Prates. Carlos Prates knocks Li Jingliang out for the first time ever. Destroyed him, bro.
Another super accomplished kickboxer. Like, dude looks like he was in a Muay Thai fight.
Yeah.
Li Jingliang was just not setting angles, telegraphing shots, thrown from way too far away, due to Prates' like ability to control that space.
Yeah.
And keep him at the end of his jab, keep him like right where he wanted. And mate, he hurt Li Jingliang. He put on a clinic. It was beautiful. Apparently I heard he lives in Sydney now.
Who?
But I haven't seen him or heard of him around.
Carlos Prates?
Yeah, maybe it's. No, that's what one of the commentators said. But
I'm looking that up right now.
Maybe.
That's actually... No, that's right. I remember him saying something like his wife is Australian. Is that what he was saying?
Maybe. Yeah,
I'll look that up later. I don't know if it is true, but he did seem very comfortable in Perth, by the way.
Not much to say. Dude just put on a clinic.
Yeah. So let's... Because we're going to be running long for this episode, so let's not go too long. But let's rattle off some of these other fights. Junior Tafa against Valter Walker. What do you think of the verbal submission, Rob?
I don't know. Like, I know Tafa was upset with it, right? But
he was.
You can't do that. Like, you can't yell when there's a submission on. You just, everyone knows that.
Apparently they say, I don't know if you can speak to this, but the refs are like, if you do that, it will be called. Like, that is just one of the clear rules. Yeah, don't scream.
But it's always been like that. I don't know. I don't remember when I've been told that. I just know it. Like, it's just like when you're in jiu-jitsu. If you scream in a lock, they let go. You let go.
Yeah. It was funny because when I was watching that fight, I was in the media center, and then sometimes when the fighters come in, the fights are still going on. So they'll turn the volume down, for the fights on the screen so we can do the interviews and also still at least watch the fights and not listen to it. So when it happened, I was like, he didn't tap. What the hell? That was stupid. And then I think it was Jack Jenkins was in there at the time. He left. They put the volume back up. And then, you could hear Tafa scream. Clear decision. But Valter Walker was heated, bro. He was like, because obviously Tafa was starting stuff after it, kind of slapped him lightly. He was calling out his brother. His coach is like, he'll fight him tomorrow. It was getting real heated.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Do you have any other thoughts on Josh Coulibaly against Ricardo Ramos? Casey O'Neill, Luana Santos was a pretty easy one. Jack Jenkins was good to see, man. Good to see back. He hits like a truck, dude. He kicks like a truck.
I'm a fan of his,
He's a good dude.
I just like it. Like, he just looks like a good guy. Maybe it's because his name is Jack and my son's name is Jack.
Yeah. It was good to see him back because he had a pretty vicious elbow/arm injury. So this was his first fight back, and it looked really good. But I tell you what, Herbert Burns, man, I think it's time he gets cut. He was laying on his back like for the most of that fight, and he had to be stood up like 6 times.
Yeah,
which just doesn't look good in my opinion.
Yeah.
But obviously Tom Nolan looked really good against Alex Reyes. Song Kadon looked really good against Ricky Glenn. And then Stewie Nicole, unfortunately, in his debut, getting choked out really viciously. Did you see the repeat angles of that choke?
I didn't.
It was nasty, man. Even like Jesus was like lifting his legs to have blood rush back to his head to make him wake up faster. That was brutal, man. But overall, bro, what did you think of UFC 305?
I think it was a great card, and I'm glad it was in Perth. I feel like Perth never not delivers. Like the cards there are just always pretty wild. Crowd there get really into it. I'll fight there one day. I haven't been lucky enough to get there, but I'll fight there one day. I owe them a fight, right? But
you do, man. It's what most people say to me.
I know heaps of places that I owe people fights.
Look, can we let's start with a fight in Australia. How about that?
Yeah, that'll be
right.
Good.
And then we can talk about Perth. So regardless of where it is. But that was UFC 305, of course. Let us know what your thoughts about all of the fights are in the comments below. And let's do a quick prediction, as there is a fight night happening this weekend. The main event is a middleweight bout, Jared Cannonier against Caio Borralho. What do you think of this one, man? Especially having fought Cannonier too.
I'm excited to see Cannonier back. Like, dude, how old is he now? 38, 39?
No, he's 40, man.
40?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man, still plugging along. I think this is a hard fight for him. Borralho's like pretty light on his feet.
Yeah.
You saw when Cannonier fought Adesanya, Cannonier was struggling to get in, like with a guy that is quick and nimble on his feet. I can see Borralho kind of just walking him around for 5 rounds.
Yeah. I'm just glad to see him get a fight this soon because from memory, the Nasruddin Imavov fight, he disagreed with how it ended because it kind of looked like he was running away and the ref called it then, but he thought he was hard done by. So, but I tell you what, man, and it's not just Caio, it's the whole bloody Fighting Nerds group. They're killing it right now. Carlos Prates, speaking of, I think he's part of the Fighting Nerds. It's going to be a hard fight for him. And I think this could be a fight which might dictate and determine whether he is staying in that top, 10 or whatever of the middleweight division, or whether he decides to pack it up because he's 40, man. It's getting up there.
Yep.
Are you going to give a prediction or are you going to leave it?
Don't wanna. I like it.
Don't wanna.
And I'm gonna. That just straight away tells you who I think's gonna win. I just gotta leave it. May the best man win.
Fair enough. Let us know, of course, what your thoughts are about that in the comments below. Let's get some game news right now. Black Myth Wukong is the latest game, which is it's smashing records at the moment. So it's just come out. It was the most wishlist game on Steam. And less than 2 hours after launch, more than 1.2 million people are playing it, more than Hogwarts Legacy at that time, Elden Ring, and even Cyberpunk 2077. Rob, I think this game is up your alley. I know you don't take a lot of my recommendations. It's not technically a Souls-like, but it takes inspiration. It's more of an action RPG. Watch the trailer. Can you just watch the trailer and you will like it?
Why?
Because I think it's just up to your alley. I think you'd find it a lot of fun.
Why?
The style of the gameplay. I don't know. I haven't played it yet, but I've looked based on the gameplay. It just looks and feels like a game that you would actually enjoy.
Can you make your own character, or do you have to play as Wukong?
I actually don't know that.
I think you have to play as Wukong.
Why is that the determining factor as to whether you play a game or not? As a general question.
Because it's how I get immersed into a game.
Okay, so it looks like you play as a prefigured character named the Destined One.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably give this one a miss.
Well, I just don't understand why that matters so much. If the game is fun, if the mechanics are fun, play it.
I can't really get immersed if I can't build my own character.
Can you just not pretend that it's you?
No, dude. No, I can't. When I'm looking at this monkey dude running around with a tail and crap. No, I can't. Okay. The closest I could get to, and Cyberpunk did it really well, is they call your character V.
Well, this guy's named the Destined One.
Which almost threw me. I almost left that game because of that. I don't want to be called V, but it was cool enough that you can still make how you look and everything. So it was all right. Got through it.
I think you're potentially missing out on a very fun game. I am going to play it, and for the next podcast, I'll share my opinions and thoughts on it. But it's doing really well. It's smashing records. I was just hoping that you'd give a little bit of interest in it, Rob. Huh?
Mate, well,
Take one of my recommendations one day.
I haven't even gotten into Elden Ring with the Shadows of...
I know, and I question you on that too.
Yeah, I'd sooner get back into Elden Ring than Wukong. I'm just not...
That's fair. You need to play Shadow of the Erdtree, man.
Yeah, I just haven't done it yet.
Well, let's get into what we're watching, playing, and reading. What are you playing at the moment? I know that you're heavy into Fight Camp and you're doing a lot of wrestling, but what are you playing?
I'm so tired all the time now. Dude, and it's funny because like when I'm not in camp, I kind of play more multiplayer games. Like I ring my mates up and we jump on different games together. But during camp, I just need things I can pause, walk away from, whatever. Right now, I'm playing a game called Kinseed.
Kinseed?
Or Kindseed. However you say
it.
It is like it's like a Stardew Valley game.
Oh,
but I think it's made by the creators of Fable, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Or like some of the developers from the team that made Fable.
Oh, they kind of left and made their own thing.
Yeah,
right.
And it's kind of like a Stardew Valley in like a what's that? What's it called? That type of fantasy where it's like Fae, where like Fable. What's it called? Where it's like pixies and Fae and
yeah.
It's like that. It's really cool. I'm only about 10 days in or so, like still in the prologue technically, but it's fun. It's fun. It's cruisy. I'll do a day, then walk off.
Does it play similar to Stardew Valley, or is it a bit different?
It's different. It's similar in the sense that like you have a house, you're a guy, you do what you want to make money, relationships, yada, yada, yada. But there's different things like you can run businesses in this one. There's also a better combat system. Not better, but there is a combat sort of system if you wanted to go down that route.
Yeah.
There's like kids and you age and you die.
Okay.
And your kids inherit your playthrough sort of thing. I haven't really played it too much and trying to find information on it online is a little tricky, but that's what I'm playing at the moment. It's been fun.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying it. I'm going to jump on it straight after this before kickboxing.
Let me know how you go, because the one thing with a game like Stardew Valley for me, even though everyone says, oh, it's a relaxing, chill game, I got stressed the hell out when playing Stardew, because every day you're like, I got to do these veggies and I got to get this done. I got to marry this person. And it just gets stressful.
Yeah, 100%. I feel you. I try to min-max my crop yield so hard that like I am just sweating as every second of the day count down. Like I'm there like 12 hours a day plowing, planting, seeding, watering, like constantly. It becomes like the biggest grind of a game.
It is. Yeah, and everyone's like, it's relaxing. No, it's not, because I don't want to screw up the summer season. Bro, I need to plant all my crops.
I got through the first year with millions because of my, like, just how hard I min-maxed it. Like I did the whole, like, whatever you need to do to get strawberries up until you get blueberries up until you do pumpkins until you do pumpkin spice. Like I did the whole thing to min-max the hell out of it. And then I had a bunch of cash and I didn't know what to do anymore.
You won the game. That's how you know you've won.
Like I was just like, so I've worked so hard for my retirement that I don't know what to do with myself anymore. And you know what? I think there's a deeper meaning to be found there. I think you need to really look into that and realize that it's, not necessarily the destination, right? But
money's not everything. Spend a little bit during the journey and not at the end.
Got to the end of the game with millions of dollars and didn't know what to do anymore.
That's fair. There is a life lesson to be learned in that. I completely agree.
But yeah.
Have you been watching or reading or anything?
Same stuff.
Same
stuff. There's a cool book. What's it called? There's a cool book.
Do you got stuff on your Kindle? Is that what you read?
Yeah. It's called, I forget what the first one's called.
Give me the name of the second and I'll find it.
The third book's called Rival EXE.
Rival EXE book.
Rival.exe. My Macronomicon.
What is it about? Unplanned magical bioteleportation.
I think it's called Industrial Mage. Industrial Mage.
Okay.
The first one.
Interesting.
I think. It's really cool. It's like...
Yeah.
Oh, it's hard to explain. There's superheroes. There's like Iron Man type characters.
Yeah.
There's magic as well. It's very hard to explain. I cannot recommend it enough, though. It's a great book. It's so well written. So well written.
All right. In terms of me, though, I don't know why I started, because I haven't been playing much because obviously I was in Perth for the last week. But while I was there, I was watching a lot of Cobra Kai. I think it's the best, man. I assume you watched Karate Kid growing up, right? You had to.
Never liked it.
Are you kidding? Literally you, Robert Whittaker, training in karate growing up, and you don't watch Karate Kid?
No, didn't like it.
I go, no, you didn't like it or you didn't watch it?
I don't think I watched it either. I know what happens, obviously.
Well, how do you know you're not liking it?
So I don't like the things that I've seen about it. I don't really like combat shows, fighting shows.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily combat, because like the stuff that they're doing and they're teenagers, like they're not fighting well. But it's more like a cheesy 80s, 90s kind of throwback.
And why does that appeal to me?
It's just interesting. It's fun. It makes me feel like I'm watching Karate Kid back in the day.
What makes it interesting?
I don't know, man. It's one of those shows that just kind of puts me at ease.
You got to work on selling me stuff, dude. Like nothing you've said has sold me on Black Myth Wukong. All this.
To be fair, I haven't played Black Myth, so I have no idea what the game is about until I actually play it. Right, but. Yeah, look, it's a bit of a cheesy 80s throwback. So if you didn't like the original Karate Kid, then I can't sell you on it, because there's a lot of Easter eggs, like, you know, how the story has developed and become invested in these characters. So if you don't care in the world,
there's only one karate movie that's worth talking about, brother.
Which is?
That's Three Ninjas Strike Back.
Oh, how good was that?
That's the only one worth talking about. And if it's not that, I don't want to talk about it.
Three Ninjas Strike. You've just unlocked a core memory for me, man. No, you have. I remember they were all different colors. That's a good one.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna watch that again. There was even like a Super Nintendo game based off of that too.
So much.
And they would wear like the masks as well. Oh, that was the best.
Yeah, they set the booby traps around the little lake house. It's cool.
I want to give that a watch soon, I think. That was core memory unlocked just then. But that is what we're watching, playing, and reading. Final segment, as always, viewer questions. If you have any questions, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. But first one is from @WalkingDesecration. Rob, what format and colors do you prefer to play in Magic? Also, would you consider playing against us fans?
100% I'd play against you guys. My is Menai Bob. I'm pretty sure.
MENAI Bob.
Yeah. I don't know if you need numbers or something after it. If you do, I'll give it to Jonny. You can post it up on the thing. But yeah, I'll smash anyone and everyone. Typically I like Artifact, like colorless really. But they're so expensive, those decks. So I play probably after that mono white, probably.
Okay.
I want to say. Yeah.
All right. Next question is from @Daniel Gonzalez. And I think this was meant to be a question for me.
I play standard.
Fair. I think this was meant to be a question for me to ask fighters at UFC 305 in general, but I'm curious as to what you think. What do you fear more, a bad cut on the eyebrow or an almost swollen shut eye? Because both could cause the fight to be called, right? Depending on the severity.
Both suck.
Did they both hurt about the same, or
I don't know. I don't know.
Get going. Flip a coin. Give an answer.
Probably a cut.
Okay.
Probably.
There was a cut recently. It was a female fighter, and the fight was called. That one was so brutal.
Gash, dude. So
I can't remember who the fighter was. I'll look it up. Next question is from @TylerW14. Rob, what's the worst thing to get hit with during a fight? Liver kick, head kick, body punch, etc. And do you have a favorite movie that is satisfying to land on an opponent? Satisfying move, to land on
any sort of kick in the head is satisfying to land. I love those. Like they're the best.
Yeah.
Huge payout. And worst thing to get hit with is like anything. They all kind of hurt. But if you get kicked in the liver, you're done, dude. Like it's over. Yeah, it all kind of sucks.
Yeah. Have you had any like pretty bad liver shots that you
Once.
thought,
I mean, kicked once in the liver, sparring. Who was it? Daniel. I forget his last name. Top of my head, I can't remember his last name. He knows who he is if he listens to it. Or if anyone.
Yeah.
But I sparred him at UFC gym somewhere and he hit me in the liver. He was much more than me too. Like the guy was like 10, 15 kilos lighter than me. Liver kicked me. Dude, my body locked up. Like it shuts down. Your body shuts down if you get liver kicked properly.
Fair. By the way, I figured out the fighter was Myro Breno Silva. That was the eye cut. That was like really bad, right open. I guess there'd probably be more of a fear in terms of like losing your sight with a swollen eye. You know, I don't know. Like that's just me speaking anecdotally. But it feels like as bad as a cut is, you can get it stitched up, but a swollen eye could it potentially affect your vision moving forward just because of the nature of the injury? I don't know. Next question is from @GrimRoman XIII. Hey Jonny, what weapon build you rocking in Shadow? I've been running the backhand blade, with Blood Flame blade buff, and it smacks. I stuck with my bleed build, man. I stuck with my bleed build because it was what I was most comfortable with, and I was reviewing it. So I didn't want to be the guy that was messing around with new weapons and armor and everything because I wanted the meta to kind of settle itself and then figure out what I would like to use and what was fun. I love bleed builds in Elden Ring, man. I think they're so much fun.
Yeah, why?
One, because they're powerful. They're really powerful. They allow you to destroy some bosses.
It is.
Look, I'll be the first one to admit I'm not that good at Elden Ring, so I need a little bit of a leg up, you know? I'm not as good as you, Rob. I can't just pick a build.
Brother, I'm terrible at Elden Ring.
Bull crap.
I'm terrible.
No, don't give me that.
I'm terrible, dude.
You say that, and then you have like 5 different level 150 characters. You're smashing people in PvP. You're a liar.
Nah, PvP's easy until it's not, but like... yeah, man. Like, there's some dudes I get absolutely flogged by in PvP. Flogged.
Okay.
Like, it's terrible. And they make me hate the game and I turn it. That's probably why I'm not playing anymore. Because, like, my last stint was a huge PvP go.
But you don't need to do PvP.
Yeah. But it's fun. Like, it's fun to be like, to play a character you know can smack people around as well. Like...
I know you've talked about how you get that feeling when someone's invaded your world and it's a lot of fun, but you're literally saying that that's the reason why you're not coming back to the game. So which is it? Is it fun or is it putting you off?
No, I just burnt myself out.
Fair.
I'm not returning to the game because I wish I got invaded more.
Okay. I mean, you would if you played Shadow of the Erdtree. Rob, it's actually so good. It's like a game in and of itself.
It's just too fast for me right now. It's too fast.
What do you mean it's too fast?
It's like too many moving pictures. I need like a slow turn-based game or like a Stardew Valley per se. Like I don't have it in me right now to keep up with everything.
Is it because like you are training so hard and when you get home you don't want to like a fast pace?
Yeah, I'm just tired, man. It's like there's mini games in Kinseed where you've got to like press your mouse at the right time to smelt stuff or whatever. Bro, okay. I miss everything. It's almost too much for me now. It's so hard for me to hit that stuff. I'm just tired, dude.
That's what happened. I think it's both you and I were getting to the 30s age where we're not as good as we used to be with games.
Yeah, we got to switch to bleed builds and magic builds. Shit.
And the last question, dude, every time you drink from your jug, there's always 1 or 2 comments in there about it. @SpoonKid235. What's the jug that Rob uses and where can I buy one? I drink a lot of water also.
It's just it's like a metal jug from Bunnings.
They don't have Bunnings overseas. Like
I don't know. It feels bad. It feels bad, dude. So
maybe you could buy it online. I don't know if Bunnings ships stuff internationally. Bunnings is the best, man. Like I don't know what the equivalent. Maybe like if you have Home Depot in the US, but you go there on a weekend. They do sausage sizzles. You buy a couple of things that you need. Bunnings is the best.
Not bad.
Did you hear recently? Like these guys are doing a party and a rave at a Bunnings, and they sold out tickets and everything.
Really?
I don't get it. But
I
You're trying to process that.
Yeah, I don't know why I'd want to go party at a Bunnings.
For the experience.
But then I guess everybody else is at a Bunnings, I don't know.
Yeah. And that is the last question. That was episode 49 of the MMArcade podcast. Rob, as always, by the way, people that are like, why isn't this podcast longer? It's because Rob is tired and
I made an official request.
50 minutes.
It's got to be shorter while I'm in camp. I burn out. You guys you can literally see my face start to drop the longer the podcast goes on. Like, I'm tired, dude.
I'll say, like, you were worried about like your demeanor and your energy in the last episode. No one called you out on it. Like, genuinely, no one noticed.
Yeah. We'll see.
But be grateful it's 50 minutes and just not no episode entirely, because we all want you to win against Khamzat. But do you have any final closing words for the episode?
Yep. I want to say a big thank you to you, Jonny, for going over to Perth, holding the reins, running the ship, and you made us all proud, mate. You did some good work there, man. And I think the fans of the show really appreciated that.
I appreciate it, brother.
If you are new, or even if you're not, tell your mates about us, subscribe, share us on
absolutely.
I don't know, any way you can. And
TikTok, Instagram, everywhere.
I'll see you next week.
See you guys.